So Q4 was another strong quarter for the company. Deliveries reached over 112,000 vehicles in a single quarter. It's hard to think of a similar product with such strong demand that it can generate more than $20 billion in revenue with zero advertising spend. I think we do say that from time to time, and I think it's often overlooked. But to have the highest demand electric vehicle in the world with no advertising spend is, I think, quite remarkable, and speaks to the nature of the product and the fact that the product itself is compelling enough to generate that demand without a bunch of advertising. At our Fremont factory, we were producing at a rate roughly the same as the NUMMI factory did in its record year of 2006, and obviously we expect to exceed that significantly this year. This rate of production was achieved before we even started to produce the Model Y out of Fremont, so there's a lot of potential to go beyond that number. For the Shanghai factory, I'd like to say congratulations again to the team in Shanghai on launching Model 3 last quarter and achieving the first deliveries earlier this year. I'm really excited and optimistic about the potential for the Shanghai factory. I think it's going to be an incredible asset to the company. And we also broke ground on the Model Y factory in Shanghai, so there's a lot of good progress there. Regarding Model Y, it was only 10 months ago that we revealed a Model Y prototype, and now in January this year, we started producing Model Y in limited volumes already. This is thanks to a great effort of our engineering team, and we managed to achieve by far the highest energy efficiency of any electric SUV ever produced at 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour, which means Model Y all-wheel drive got an EPA rating of 315 miles. This improvement is reflected on the configurator as of today. This is above what we previously stated by a pretty significant margin. And just with great acceleration, top speed, it's really just incredible specs all around. For the Cybertruck, a few months ago we revealed the Cybertruck. That went viral. And we try to build a product that is superior in every way without any preconceptions of how such a product should look. So it really just from the standpoint of what's the most badass, futuristic, armored personnel carrier that kicks the ass of any pickup truck. Basically, that's the goal. We wanted it to look like something that just came out of a sci-fi movie set from the future. And the demand has been incredible. We've never seen actually such a level of demand at this. We've never seen anything like it, basically. I think we will make about as many as we can sell for many years. So as many, we'll sell as many as we can make. It's going to be pretty nuts. And I think actually the product is better than people realize even. They don't even have enough information to realize just the awesomeness of it. It's just great. And in conclusion, when I think of what we have in front of us the next couple of years, we've got Model Y, we've got Giga Berlin, Tesla Semi, solar glass roof, Cybertruck, some very exciting improvements in battery technology, we've got full self-driving, got the next-gen Roadster, and probably a bunch of other products we'll come up with too. It's hard to think of another company that has a more exciting product and technology roadmap. So super fired up about where Tesla will be in the next 10 years. If you look back 10 years from today to 2010, we will produce approximately 1,000 times more cars in 2020 than we produced in 2010. 8,000. And we have also solar glass and solar retrofit and Powerwall, Power Pack, all those other things too. We are seeing, admittedly from a small base, exponential growth in demand and output for the solar glass roof. So it's difficult to predict what the number will be this year, except that the demand is very strong, and we are working also not just through Tesla installers, but also through new home builders and through just the roofing industry in general, where there's in North America on the order of 4 million new roofs per year. So we see a lot of interest, and so it's just a question of refining the installation process, getting lots of crews trained to do the installation. But over time, I would expect a significant percentage of new roofs to beat something to use solar glass in one form or another. It's really going to be a choice of, do you want a roof that is alive with power or dead without? And I think people will want a live roof that generates power and looks good and lasts a long time, and it's the future we want. So it will be a significant product, but because it is a new and quite revolutionary product, and there's a lot of challenges to overcome, but they will be overcome, and this will be a major product line of Tesla. Well, I think that it probably will make sense to have to enable car sharing in advance of the kind of sort of giant robotaxi fleet, because the car sharing can be done before full self-driving is approved by regulators. So it's probably something that we would enable before the full sort of robotaxi fleet is enabled. It sounds like there were some other questions bundled in there.
Superchargers at airports?
Oh, sure. Yeah, probably we'll have superchargers at airports. We'll have superchargers wherever we see that there is a need for superchargers.
And then on the insurance part of the question, it is our intent to allow people to put their cars into ride-sharing or the FSD network using Tesla insurance.
Yeah.
That's not currently the case, but by the time that this is available, it's our intent to get that ready. Tesla insurance is currently available in California. A couple of things that we're working on this front. The first is to expand it to other locations, and we're preparing the regulatory processes, preparing our processes to go through the regulatory processes in those locations. We're also working on the processes to continue to adjust our rates in California, which also have to go through regulatory processes, as insurance is quite heavily regulated. And that's where we're spending our time focusing on Tesla insurance right now. There's a significant amount of innovation, as we've discussed before, in this space, exactly getting to the intent of what the question here is, using our technology to reduce rates, and this will be rolled in over time.
The last part of the question was, will there be a discount for using autopilot with our cars?
Oh, yeah, there will be.
Yeah, the rate card for California Tesla insurance already considers the safety features associated with autopilot.
Right, but I think it would make sense for us to close the loop on higher use of autopilot probably reduces the insurance costs. It lowers the probability of injury. So I think insurance is going to be, I think, quite a major product of Tesla over time. The amount of money that people spend on car insurance is like a remarkably big percentage of the cost of a car. Like you can lease a Model 3 right now for $400 a month, but a typical owner in California will be paying, it's somewhere between $100 and $200 a month in insurance. So we're talking about something which is maybe a quarter to half of the cost of the lease of the car is insurance. And a lot of that insurance cost is just because insurance companies don't have good information about the drivers, and that there's no good way to provide feedback where it's a very poor feedback mechanism in terms of the insurance rates versus the actual way that the car is being driven, whereas we can do that in real time. Well, I mean, to be precise, I said I was hoping it would be feature complete with full FSD by the end of last year. We got pretty close. It's looking like we might be feature complete in a few months. But feature complete just means like it has some chance of of going from your home to work, let's say, with no interventions. So it doesn't mean the features are working well, but it means it has a above zero chance. So I think that's looking like maybe it's going to be a couple months from now. What isn't obvious regarding autopilot and full self-driving is just how much work has been going into improving the foundational elements of autonomy. The core autopilot and Tesla autopilot software and AI team is I think very, very strong and making great progress. We're really only beginning to take full advantage of the autopilot hardware, the FSD hardware. So I think the apparent progress as seen by consumers will seem to be extremely rapid, but actually what's really going on behind the scenes, like I said, is having the foundational software be very strong, having a really strong foundation, and then a really fundamental thing is moving to video training. So in terms of labeling with video and all 8 cameras simultaneously. This is a really, in terms of labeling efficiency, arguably like a 3 order of magnitude improvement in labeling efficiency. For those who know about this, it's extremely fundamental. So that's making great progress on that. There's a pretty big fundamental efficiency gain that Tesla has by just making cars, especially the affordable cars, the 3 and the Y, at least on the continent where the customers are. It kind of makes sense. It's like what we're doing or have been doing in the past was really pretty silly in making cars in California and then shipping them halfway around the world to Asia and Europe. And this created a lot of cost because you've got to ship those cars, so you've got a lot of finished goods sitting on the water or waiting at the port or going through customs. You've got tariffs, transport. And then the factory complexity in California is very high because you've got different regulatory requirements in China, North America, and Europe. So we've got 3 different types of cars that are being built. It's very complex. And just having a factory in China, a factory in California, or factory in China, factory in North America, factory in Europe, just that alone is a massive improvement in our fundamental operating efficiency. That I think may not be fully appreciated. Sure. Well, actually, the core chemistry inside the 18650 cell has improved many times over the years. So it's really just a form factor as opposed to a core technology. So it's, I think we're pretty happy with where the energy content of the cell and the improvements in efficiency of the vehicle. We're rapidly approaching a 400-mile range for the Model S, for example. So this is it won't be long before Model S has a 400-mile range. And actually, the Model S and X actually have more range than we are currently stating on the website. We just haven't gotten around to updating the EPA certified number. But the actual range of the Model S and X are above what the website says there are. It's certainly something that could happen in coming years. There's no plans to do it this year. The focus of Starlink is really for high bandwidth, low latency connectivity for homes and businesses and aircraft and boats and that kind of thing. But the antenna for that high bandwidth, low latency thing is sort of about the size of a medium pizza, which you could put on a car, but I think is more bandwidth than you would really need. Technically, you could buy one and just stick it on the car. It'll work. Phased array antenna. Well, I think in most parts of the world, we'd just use the cellular connectivity, just use 5G. It would be the recommendation, certainly in like any cities or something like that, But if you're out in the countryside and there's not good cell connectivity, then you could connect with a Starlink antenna, and you wouldn't need, you don't need to like have like gigabit level connectivity. You could probably like 20, 30 megabits is probably fine, and then you could have a much smaller antenna. So yeah, I guess it could be good for making sure there's connectivity and outside of major cities and that kind of thing. But I mean, that's I'm sort of, I'd say, relatively obtuse. It's not, I'm not thinking about it very much, to be honest.